Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Angie Brady. I am the director of the city's Office of the Waterfront and Civic Projects. We are very excited and honored to be here to celebrate Oscar Tuazon's artwork titled To Our Teachers and the installation of two Indigenous cedar carvings, one by Randi Purser of the Suquamish tribe titled Looking at All Tomorrows, and the other by Tyson Simmons and Keith Stevenson of the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe titled Honoring Our Muckleshoot Warriors. Along with the fabulous artists, we are joined by Gulgun Kayim, Director of the Office of Arts and Culture, poet Cedar Sigo, the Suquamish Tribe Chairman Forsman, and Muckleshoot Indian Tribe Councilmember Stevenson. Arts and culture play a central role here in Waterfront Park. As we have worked to transform Seattle's waterfront, it has been important to us that we honor its long history and move forward with intention. These artworks join other permanent artworks in the park that reflect the culture, environment, and the stories of our waterfront. We want visitors to remember that we are standing on the lands and shared waters of the Coast Salish people, whose ancestors have resided here since time immemorial. In total, there will be 9 permanent public artworks on the waterfront, each of which were specifically designed for their respective locations here, and 2 historic fountains as well. 3 more Waterfront Park artworks are expected to be installed later this year. These artworks are funded with 1% of art funds and administered by the Office of Arts and Culture and the Office of the Waterfront for Civic Projects. Thank you to the entire Waterfront Seattle team, but especially to Ruri Yampolsky, our Waterfront Public Art Manager, for her work in the selection of, yes, thank you, Ruri, in the selection of and the coordination with all of our artists, and for remaining flexible despite an ever-changing and dynamic construction schedule. Special thanks also to Barbara Lee, our Waterfront Main Corridor Project Manager, for all the logistical support. It takes a team of talented people to get all of this work constructed and built, and it's a tough job. And also thank you to Jason Huff from the Office of Arts and Culture for his early work on the project. And thanks so much to Friends of Waterfront Park for providing refreshments for today's dedication. Today we celebrate the beautiful artwork behind us. Oscar Tuazon's artwork spans from Columbia Street to Spring Street and includes Indigenous carvings at either end. The collaborative project with the carvers Randi Purser, Tyson Simmons, and Keith Stevenson invite visitors to learn from the longhouse and envision Indigenous futures on the Salish Sea. I hope these artworks encourage visitors to reflect on how we as a city and a region hold space for Indigenous communities, not just in our past, but in our future. The artists will be sharing more about their work shortly, and thank you so very much for coming and sharing space with this incredible group of artists today. I'd now like to welcome Oscar Tuazon to speak about this artwork. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Oscar Tuazon. I was born and raised on unceded Suquamish territory. Oh, sorry. Do I have a mic? Get closer, maybe? Let me try this. I'm a novice public speaker. My name is Oscar Tuazon. I was born and raised on unceded Suquamish territory, just across the water from here. My father was John Hanson. My mother is Anna Linzer. I thank my family for the love that has inspired this work. My wife, Dorothy, my children, Niaj, Tacoma, and Rain, Richard, and Eli, and Julian. And I want to thank you, my community. Oh, that's better. Okay, all right. Should I start over? Okay, all right, sorry. Me again. My name's Oscar Tuazon. I was born and raised on unceded Suquamish territory just across the water from here. My father was John Hanson. My mother is Anna Linzer. I thank my family for the love that has inspired this work. My wife, Dorothy, my children, Nuaj, Rain, and Tacoma, Richard and Eli and Julian. And I want to thank my community for teaching me to listen and preparing me for this work. Thank you to Eric Fredrickson, Jason Huff, and Rory Yampolsky, the Office of the Waterfront. Thank you, Mike Coline and Barbara Lee. Thanks to engineer Sean Valdivinos, and to Paul Mahan at Mahan Lumber, and Spencer West for carefully sourcing, forming, and crafting this beautiful wood structure. Thank you to Cedar Sigo for giving me an envelope of photos of Salish architecture at a critical moment in my process of thinking about this project, and for revealing the longhouse that exists eternally in poetry. Thank you to Lydia Sigo, who welcomed me to the Suquamish Museum to learn from the artifacts of her ancestors. Thank you to Robin Sigo for creating the community energy that has sustained this work over the past decade and which will extend it beyond today. Thank you to Leonard Forsman and the Suquamish Tribal Council for your guidance. Thank you to Warren King George and the Muckleshoot Tribe of Indians for sharing your knowledge. This structure has always been here, though for more than a century, it has been invisible to all but a few. The poets, the Lushootseed speakers, our teachers. I'm praisingly grateful to our teachers who entrusted us with their vision, who encouraged us to listen. In memory of Tom Hess, the co-author with Vi Hilbert of the Lushootseed Dictionary, who taught me to read Lushootseed texts, Lushootseed stories. When I was a 15-year-old boy, Lawrence Webster, Suquamish elder, gifted me his copy of Vi Hilbert's Lushootseed texts, inscribed to me with the words, "I want you to learn every word in this book." This project is dedicated to the memory of Webb and of the great teacher Takshublu Vi Hilbert, who so generously gave us the gifts of Lushootseed. Finally, I want to dedicate the future of this project to our beloved teacher, Eswali Zeke Zahir, and the teachers of the Puyallup language program. As you can see, this structure is not finished yet. Today is only the beginning. Together, we'll build a space for learning and for language. The great privilege of my life and of this project has been learning from other artists. And I want to sincerely thank Randi Purser, Suquamish, Tyson Simmons, and Keith Stevenson, Muckleshoot, for entrusting me with your powerful work and for the gift you're giving all of us. As Joe Ilchud, as Kudida Busid Chud. Hoi. And now I'd like to introduce, oops, what have I done now? Cedar Sigo.
Cedar Sigo.
No mic.
With no mic, sorry. Tech.
We're always having technical problems together. I love it.
I think,
No, me. It's me.
do you want me to?
Yeah, will you make
I
it
think I must
go?
have touched the button.
There you
Okay.
go. Yeah,
Don't touch anything?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Don't touch the mute button. Got it. Okay. I tried to wear the least traditional clothing I could today. I'm going to read 2 poems, and it'll take about 5 minutes. I won't hold you captive. This first poem is called Things to Do in Suquamish, and it was published in 2014, and I dedicate the reading today to my cousin Stephanie Alexander. Does this still work? Okay. Things to do in Suquamish. Smoke salmon, call San Francisco, like totally. Get driven to the terminal, escape. Come back after dark and feed the horses. Alfalfa, Timothy oats, pick their hooves. Visit the Suquamish Museum. The eyes of Chief Seattle are shut, his spirit to himself. Sepia tones, baskets, white hot rocks, cobalt trade beads. Say hi to all my cousins. Cul-de-sac. Hi Josh, hi Jeremy. Drink Rainier beer. A ribbon out, up, and over the peak. I confuse it with Mount Fuji. Walk back to Dad's room. He talks when he wants and smokes. Linger over his bookshelf. Moby Dick, Starling Street, all of Kurt Vonnegut. Try and write the serial killer light at night. See through green and black. Give up. Try prose. Ooh, sorry. That poem always reminds me of David Lynch a little bit. Rest in peace. And this one is in this very mainstream anthology, forgive me, Poetry in the Natural World, edited by the Poet Laureate of the United States, Ada Limon. It's supposed to be a book of nature poetry. We'll see. It's called, can you fix it again? I think I hit mute. Where's the guy? Okay. Wait, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Wait. Okay, that's good. Okay. Close-knit flower sack. Seedless golden tears, ferns bound to flesh at off angles, busted out res towns, hemming us in with a cloak of mosses. The orchestration needs tufts of black shadow, incidental notes to weigh it down. The blanket depicts a field and loon. I said we once formed kingdoms at the foot of a vanishing stone. What was it I said that they said? Vividness is self-selecting, several points flowing together in stonework. I only use words like stones because we are far away. We corrupt a landscape through the planting of foreign flowers. Borders are often theorized as division, wending along with a spot of sunlight the bone frame was made for. No such shock knit within terror, yet the skeleton stood up to it. They are not artifacts, but fit to our hand, our daily voice, the short mouth line erased. The marsh revels in its glitter and occasional cranberry. The subject is left purposely unstable. We will not be robbed of continuum. The shells fly out from the dress on strings according to demands left in the music. Certain stories are told in full frog regalia. The music is allowed its wet set of wings and room to lie down. Words arranged for prayer are in fact geometric forms or portraits of poets themselves, uncovering the dictates of a graven line. Orlando, are we even allowing ourselves the present moment anymore? There are still 2 blankets that sit on either side. Reimagining can take place at the root of time. Out of all necessity, we convert the elements as a matter of course. Thank you. And the next speaker is the Carver Randy Purser.
Hatzlachil, Randy Purser seed stock, Quibalita seed stock, Robert Purser toot stock, a toot bod, Lois Purser toot stock, a seed skoy, Oyayus ched, T stuck ob, Skol teed sokwa, Lena Purser Maloney, Yufti Ty Leander Purser. My name is Randi Purser. I'm from Suquamish. My parents were Robert Purser and Lois Purser. I worked on this post with my sister Lena Purser Maloney and my nephew Ty Leander Purser. Completed the portion at the bottom on his own. It represents a woman named Sholitza, and she was the father of Chief Seattle, and so this would be Chief Seattle as a baby she's holding. And the bottom is a spindle whorl with some mountain goats, which she was from the Blackwater Duwamish people, and she would have been a weaver of the mountain goat wool. And then on her dress is a design of the unfolding fern, which represents new life. And then on the top is the moon surrounded by frog heads, and the frogs represent a new season where they sing the winter away and the spring in, and also a time of change. And this young family stood on the cusp of change. They would have been about that age when Vancouver sailed into the Sound. And it also represents the people of today standing on a cusp of change. And we always are in our life journeys that way. And across the water on Bainbridge is another pole that accompanies this one. It's Schwebe, which was Chief Seattle's father, and he was from Suquamish. And so they came about separately, but it was just serendipity that I was able to carve them both at the same time in my shed and have them speak with each other, I would say. I'd like to thank my sister for her help, and Ty Leander for his help, and my daughter Keisha Smith did some carving on there, and my granddaughters, who's 4 and 2, Rose and Kylie, also had knives on this post and did some learning themselves on how to move wood. And I'd like to thank Paul Mahan for the log and all his help, and Philippe, who came and put the copper on yesterday. It was exciting. And Spencer, who's been around for years in the carving way. I worked with him years ago making a fetting over with Dwayne Pasco. And finally, I'd like to dedicate this to Dwayne Pasco, my mentor and teacher, and to my mother, Lois Purser, and to my cousin, Stephanie Alexander, and to my smokehouse mom, Jerry Lane. They all 4 left me in the last few months, and I just want to dedicate my work to them. Thank you.
Your work's not done yet.
I'd like to introduce our tribal chairman, Leonard Forsman.
All right, thank you, Randy. All right, Hill. I'm Leonard Forsman, chairman of the Suquamish Tribe, home of Chief Seattle, and I'm also president of Affiliated Tribes of Northwest Indians, and member of the Board of Regents, University of Washington. So I take the ferry a lot. I was supposed to be funny, I guess, but I just like to say thank you to everybody who's worked so hard on this project. I really believe that this is a product of love and collaboration. And the people that worked on this project, many of them grew up together on a reservation, some from the tribe and some not. And they were able to sort through some complex relationships and come back together as adults to really make a great presentation of our culture and history here on the waterfront. And of course, the artwork is connected to Bainbridge Island and represents our strong maritime traditions here in central Puget Sound, central Salish Sea, as our people ventured far and wide in their marine tradition to gather enough salmon and shellfish and other important goods, and also maintain those trade and social relationships with other tribes that made Chief Seattle such an influence here in the city. And as Randy said, he's represented here as a young man just before the great amount of contact that came in, and his life, as Cedar said, one of our prized treasures, poets of the Suquamish tribe, about the eyes of Chief Seattle. That exhibit was about his eyes and what he saw in his life. He was born before contact, lived to see the first contact as a young boy paddling out to see Vancouver, and then the missionaries and the traders, and then the treaties and the reservation and the boarding school beginnings of that started before he passed on in 1866. So just like to thank the city of Seattle. We've been to many dedications this year and last year, and it's just an example of how the work's getting done through the work of Angela and the whole team at the city, as the multiple mayors that have supported this and city councils that have supported this, and also Friends of the Waterfront. I'd like to acknowledge that we dedicated the Chief Seattle's father's pole over in Bainbridge Island not too long ago, and we have representatives of Bainbridge City Council here. We have Mayor Ashley Matthews here, Councilman Joe Dietz, and Councilman John Quintsland. Might call you JQ from here on out, but I thank you for coming as well. And I'd just like to finish by saying that this is transforming the waterfront in a lot of different ways. It's making it more people-friendly, more diverse, trying to get people down to the waterfront that maybe didn't feel welcome here before, working with the businesses and all the other people here on the waterfront to make this a welcoming place, and also recognize the values and traditions that we all share about preserving our natural world and also our collective spirituality. So with that, I'll just say ahoy, Chud. Okay, Angela, you gonna go ahead and wrap it up? Okay.
Thanks, Leonard. Okay, so at this time, we would like to transition to Columbia Street, just a few blocks to the south, to hear from our friends at the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, and for you to be able to see their amazing carving at the south end of this beautiful project. So if you would join us and just kind of take a slow walk. We've got cameras that need to set up again, so it might take us a few minutes to get set up down there, but please stay with us and join us for the Muckleshoot carving.
I don't think we will fully know the land we stand on. So I just want to acknowledge and appreciate the work of artists. Obviously, I'm the Director of Arts and Culture, and that is what I ground myself in. But that is the grounding we all need to acknowledge as well. So I also want to appreciate the relationship that we've had with the Office of the Waterfront, Angela Brady, and Ruri Yaplonsky, who is a member of our office, who's worked really closely to make this happen. It has been an 11-year process, which is actually quite long. And it is a process that will continue, because you heard that the artwork is not finished. Carvings will continue to be added over time, and that's actually something that I think is really beautiful about this piece, that over time we will have more artists contribute, more storytelling happening, and it will grow and develop. And that is something really beautiful about this work. Finally, I also want to acknowledge that we have other people here who've represented the infrastructure of our city. So Councilmember Kittleson is here, who has supported our office and our resources. Thank you very much, Councilmember. And Joy Shigaki from the Waterfront, Friends of the Waterfront, who is, again, a collaborating agency with us, a nonprofit that ensures arts and culture lives on the waterfront. Finally, I'm going to now hand this over to artists Tyson, Simmons, and Keith Stevenson, who are members of the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. And their carving here behind me is called Honoring Our Muckleshoot Warriors. And I would like to introduce them and invite them up to speak about their work.
I'm going to have my beautiful wife come up here and open us with a prayer.
Talkie snacks and manzamanats a sink display. Glow masista. Talkie snacks and manzamanats a sink display. Glow masista. Talkie snacks and manzamanats a sink display. Glow masista. Kha shaksiapad. Yolab chat. Lud chat haltis lache. Egg the bushlet 12 buck stab. Egg with the bushlet 12 to siayu satatak to catch out. Egg with the bushlet 12 tist oil of slache. Egg with the bushlet 12 tea buck look chat. Oak rate suit chat 12 tea to siayu satatak to catch out. Oak rate suit chat 12 tea look chat. Oak rate suit chat 12 tea siab. Aldisha, Alti, Altis Lache. Egui the bootlet, Taltil Hachosara Chal. Egui the bootlet, Talti Duchlashoot si Chal. Egui the bootlet, Talti Isha Chal. Egui the bootlet, Talti Bak Stab. Egui the bootlet, Tal Lud Chal Altis Lache. Hoya chad. Talkis nats a man's a manats a sanctus blick on my sister. Talkis nats a man's a manats a sanctus blick on my sister. Talkis nats a man's a manats a sanctus blick. Lo my sister, lo my sister, lo my sister.
Hello, Keith Stevenson, Muckleshoot Opsad.
Tyson, Simmons. You want to talk about it, bro?
No, go for it.
All right.
Point it up.
Hello.
Yep. Speak into
Oh
it.
yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank City of Seattle and Waterfront, Paul, Oscar, and Muckleshoot Indian Tribe for giving us the opportunity to do a little artwork for you guys. And it's an honor to have artwork here at the Waterfront for everybody to see. And me and Keith in our shop did this poll to honor our warriors. And it's a pretty important poll for us. And it just showcases a couple of our stories that we have. And it was a pleasure making it, honor to be here at the Waterfront. And yeah, just appreciate it being here. Got anything else, bro?
Thank Yuri. Thank Ruri.
Yeah, I think Rory too. Then we'll let Donnie come up.
Thank you.
We at Halts the Hill, Donnie Stevenson Teedstadt, Muckleshoot Opshed. Welcome. Good morning to you all. My name is Donnie Stevenson, and I am Muckleshoot. I'm an elected member of the Muckleshoot Tribal Council. I also serve as a member of the City of Seattle's Indigenous Advisory Council. I also act as a board member for the Central Waterfront Oversight Committee here in the city of Seattle. That all comes together in a very unique way where I've had contact with this beautiful project from multiple perspectives. The one thing that I forgot to share is that Keith Stevenson is my younger brother, and Tyson Simmons is my first cousin, both younger. So a very unique opportunity to engage with this beautiful installation over the more than decade that it's taken from the idea and thought to us being here today to come together in celebration, to raise our hands in thanks for this beautiful part of the waterfront of our city. It's such a honor and a privilege to be able to play a role like that. I think, especially as I was speaking with one of our tribal elders and leaders this morning, it's been a difficult and challenging week for many people, for a lot of different reasons, particularly as it relates to human rights and understanding of who we each are within the context of this greater nation. Tribal people are included in that discussion, as well as many other groups of what you would traditionally think of as at-risk or underserved folks. So to be able to come today and to acknowledge our place as the original peoples who lay the foundation for what is today the city of Seattle is fundamentally important. As you look behind me at the stretch of road, which has, I was just drawing attention to the fast bike. As you pay attention to the road signs denoting where we are, Alaskan Way or Elliott Way, but a couple of years back, we had the opportunity to come together again with the Suquamish Nation and to talk about the traditional name of this place and to formally put up signs that reflect that. So this is Zidzalalich, and that's what our people have known this land as and this area as for hundreds of generations and thousands of years. It's important to talk a little bit about that and give some context to the history of this city. So that means the crossing over place, or the little crossing over place. And it's ironic where we stand because it refers almost specifically to right where we're at. That you could look up along these streets and you could see an area of dry land where you had the ability to cross from here to the park, or up this way from here to the shores of Lake Washington. So the translation of Zidzalalich is very literal. It was the places which you could cross dry land to get to other areas. I think it's also important to acknowledge today, January 25th. So in 1865, on January 26th, was when the Battle of Seattle took place. So those of you who don't know that history, that's when the tribal people ultimately took up arms against a 4-year-old settlement that had recently been named Seattle after the Suquamish and Duwamish leader, Chief South, whom the city is named after, and fought an active resistance. Governor Isaac Stevens had spent the last couple of years, 1864 and 1865, actively forming treaties with the tribal nations of this region, and then went about not living up to any of those treaties. So the land that was supposed to be set aside via the treaty-making process wasn't. So our tribe was directly impacted by that. And we took up active armed resistance against the people here in order to win that right. So we had people who literally fought and died for their right to continue to exist as they had for since time immemorial, and to retain the lands which we hold in trust to this day. When it's funny how our Creator has a way of making things take place exactly when they're supposed to, exactly how they're supposed to, and having an opportunity to come to the city of Seattle, which has been regarded as our people's homeland for as long as the waters have been here, and to talk a little bit about the context of this beautiful project and what it means, especially set against the backdrop of the citizenship of people being questioned in this nation, is a really important thing. As tribal leaders, we have the opportunity to use our voice to serve those folks who we are elected to serve, but also those who don't have a voice to protect themselves. And so to be here, to be able to draw attention to that, as well as honor the proud cultural tradition of who we are, where we come from, to raise my hands to the artists who put together this work that acknowledge that history, to raise my hands to the people who continue to hold that fight today, and to raise my hands to our future generations, and to do that with all of you in a way that's shared and collaborative and in a unified voice, that we will come together regardless of circumstance, that we will come together as people to make sure that we're acknowledging the things that are important to us, that we're living out the values of who we are as a people, and that we're doing that for the young ones who are watching. We're doing that for our elders who are watching, and we're doing that for our ancestors who are always watching. I raise my hands to each and every one of you for being here. I thank you for the opportunity to honor this beautiful tribute, living tribute to our shared history and our people. I thank you for the opportunity to share these words, and I ask of you to be the best reflections of the creed of what this nation is supposed to be. We each have the ability to impact what this country looks like and who we are to one another. Carry that with you, not only this day, but every day. We're a shared community, we're a shared people, and I thank you for the opportunity to be a voice to that end today. Thank you very much. My hands are raised in prayer and thanks.